Good evening and welcome to Sun Meadow Temple. We are so happy you've joined us. My name's Alba and I use she, her pronouns. This is our second July observance and I'm so happy you are here. As always, this service is recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. Please do a mid-year survey so I can make decision choices about where we are going. It's anonymous, but the data I get is incredibly helpful for deciding what to do. Also remember that we'll take August off for all of us who are busy starting with school or other events at that time, but we will be doing a Minecraft contest. We'll open today with our opening words, which will appear on the slide behind you. Please read along at home or listen as I read the words aloud. We welcome you into the light of the gods and light this flame in celebration. May its brightness symbolize our connection to the gods and the natural world. May you join us in this community of faith, cherishing love and with open hearts. So our theme for this month is heroism. And we had so many readings that were very good for the topic, so I have decided that we will not be doing any speaking portion because I'm sure you don't want to hear my thoughts on this and would much rather hear all of our relevant ancient writers' thoughts. So, our readings today are from the Kalevala, translated by John Martin Crawford. It's the High One's Lay excerpt from the Eddas, translated by Benjamin Thorpe. Symposium by Plato, translated by Benjamin Jowett, and Penelope and Ulysses by Ovid, translated by Grant Showerman. So we'll begin with the Kalevala. On the second and the third days, Kaleronen sowed some barley near the barns of Atamonen. Atamonen's sheep in hunger ate the crop of Kullervonen, and Kullervonen's dog in malice tore Atamo's sheep in pieces. Then Atamo sorely threatened to annihilate the people of his brother Kalervonen, to exterminate his tribe folk, to destroy the young and aged, to outroot his race and kingdom. Conjures men with broadswords girded, for the war he fashions heroes, fashions youth with spears adjusted, bearing axes on their shoulders. Conjures thus a mighty army, hastens to begin a battle, bring war upon his brother. Kalervonen's wife in beauty sat beside her chamber window, looking out along the highway, spake these words in wonder, guessing, "Do I see some smoke arising, or perchance a heavy storm cloud near the border of the forest, near the ending of the prairie?" It was not some smoke arising, nor indeed a heavy storm cloud. It was Utamonen's soldiers, marching to the place of battle. Warriors of Utamonen came equipped with spears and arrows, and killed the people of Kalervo, slew his tribe and all his kindred, burned to ashes many dwellings, leveled many courts and cabins. Only Kalerverdo's daughter with her unborn child, survivors of the slaughter of Untamo, and she led the hostile army to her father's halls and mansions, swept the rooms and made them cheery, gave the heroes home attentions. The next clip is from the Elder Eddas. A wary guest, who to reflection comes, keeps a cautious silence, with his ears listens, and with his eyes observes. So explores every prudent man. He is happy, who for himself obtains fame and kind words. Less sure is that which a man must have in another's breast. He is happy, who in himself possesses fame and wit while living, for bad counsels have oft been received from another's breast. Better to burthen no man bears on the way than much good sense. That is thought better than riches in a strange place. Such is the recourse of the indigent. A worse provision on the way he cannot carry than too much beer bibbing. So good is not, as it is said, beer for the sons of men. A worse provision no man can take from table than too much beer bibbing, for the more he drinks, the less control he has of his own mind. Oblivion's heroine 'tis called, that over potations hovers. He steals the minds of men. With this bird's pinions I was fettered in Gunlaud's dwelling. Drunk I was overdrunk, at that cunning Fialar's. It is the best drunkenness when everyone after it regains his reason. Taciturn and prudent, and in war daring, should a king's children be. Joyous and liberal, every one should be until his hour of death. A cowardly man thinks he will ever live, if warfare he avoids, but old age will give him no peace, though spears may spare him. A fool gapes when to a house he comes, to himself mutters or is silent, but all at once if he gets drink, then is the man's mind displayed. He alone knows who wanders wide, and has much experienced by what disposition each man is ruled, and who common sense possesses. So our next reading is from Phaedrus, and it's part of Symposium. The veriest coward who would become an inspired hero, equal to the bravest at such a time. Love would inspire him, that courage which, as Homer says, the god breathes into the souls of some heroes. Love of his own nature infuses into the lover. Love will make men dare to die for their beloved, love alone, and women as well as men. Of this Aclistes, the daughter of Peleus, is a monument for all Hellas, for she was willing to lay down her life on behalf of her husband when no one else would, although he had a father and mother, but the tenderness of her love so far exceeded theirs that she made them seem to be strangers in blood to their own son, and in name only related to him. And so noble did this good action of hers appear, to the gods as well as to men, that among the many who have done virtuously, she is one of the very few to whom, in admiration of her noble action, they have granted the privilege of returning alive to earth. Such exceeding honor is paid by the gods to the devotion and virtue of love. But Orpheus, son of Oeagrus, the harper, they sent empty away, and presented him to an apparition only of her whom he sought, but herself they would not give up, because he showed no spirit. He was only a harp player, and did not dare, like Aclistes, to die for love, but was contriving how he might enter Hades alive. Moreover, they afterwards caused him to suffer death at the hands of women, as the punishment of his cowardliness. Very different was the reward of the true love of Achilles towards his lover Patroclus. His lover, and not his love, the notion that Patroclus was the beloved one, is foolish error, which Asclepius has fallen, for Achilles was surely the fairer of the two, fairer also than all the other heroes, and as Homer informs us, he was still beardless and younger far. And greatly as the gods honor the virtue of love, still the return of love on the part of the beloved to the lover is more admired and valued and rewarded by them, for the lover is more divine, because he is inspired by God. Now Achilles was quite aware, for he had been told by his mother, that he might avoid death and return home and live to a good old age if he abstained from slaying Hector. Nevertheless, he gave his life to revenge his friend, and dared to die, not only in his defense, but after he was dead. Wherefore the gods honored him even above Aclistes, and sent him to the Isles of the Blest. These are my reasons for affirming that love is the eldest and noblest and mightiest of the gods, and the chief authority and giver of virtue in life and of happiness after death. So then our final reading is Penelope to Ulysses from the Heroides by Ovid. To be clear, if you've never read these before, these are a set of letters that Ovid has written as a parody of Greek myths from the perspective of the women in the myths. So they're a new thing for us to read, and they might be a new thing for you too. But Ovid is Roman, and these are some of my absolute favorite collections of Roman writings. This missive your Penelope sends to you, O Ulysses, slow of return that you are, yet write nothing back to me yourself come. Troy, to be sure, is fallen, hatred of the daughters of Greece, but scarcely were Priam and all Troy worth the price to me. Oh, would that then, when his ship was on the way to Lacedaemon, the adulterous lover had been overwhelmed by raging waters. Then had I not remain cold in my deserted bed, nor would now be left alone complaining slowly of passing days, nor would the hanging web be wearying now my widowed husband, as I seek to beguile the honors of spacious night. When have I not feared dangers graver than be real. Love is a thing ever filled with anxious fear. It was upon you that my fancy ever told me the furious Trojans would rush. At mention of the name of Hector, my pallor ever came. Did someone begin the tale of Antilochus laid low by the enemy? Antilochus was cause of my alarm. Or did he tell of how the son of Menoetus fell in armor not his own? I wept that wiles could lack success. Had Tlepolemus with his blood made warm the Lycian spear, in Teplomus's fate was all my care renewed. In short, whoever it was in the Argive camp that was pierced and fell colder than ice, grew the heart of her who loves you. But good regard for me had the god who looks with favor upon chaste love. Turned to ashes is Troy, and my lord is safe. The Argolic chieftains have returned, our altars are asmoke. Before the gods of our fathers is laid the barbarian spoil. The young wife comes bearing thank offering for her husband's save. The husband sings of the fates of Troy that have yielded to his own. Righteous elder and trembling girl admire the wife hangs on the tale that falls from her husband's lips, and someone about the board shows thereupon the fierce combat, and with scant tracing of wine pictures forth all of Pergamum. Here flowed the Simois, this is the Sigirian land, here stood the lofty place of Pyrrhum the ancient, yonder tented the son of Aeacus, yonder Ulysses. Here in wild course went the frightening steeds with Hector's mutilated corpse. For the whole story was told your son, whom I sent to seek you. Ancient Nestor told him, and he told me. He told as well of Rhesus and Dolon's fall by the sword, how one was betrayed by slumber, the other undone by guile. You had the daring, O too forgetful of your own, to set wily foot by night in the Thracian camp, and to slay so many men, all at one time, and with only one to aid. Ah, yes, you were cautious indeed, and ever gave me first thought. My heart leaped with fear at every word, until I was told of your victorious riding back through the friendly lines of Greeks with the coursers of Ismarus. But what avail to me that Ilion has been scattered in ruin by your arms, and that once was wall is now level ground? If I am still to remain such as I was while Troy endured, and must live to all time bereft of my lord, for others Pergamum have been brought low. For me alone it still stands, though the victor dwell within, and drive there the plough with the ox he took as spoil. Now fields of corn where Troy once was, and soil made fertile with Phrygian blood waves rich with harvest, ready for the sickle. The half-buried bones of her heroes are struck by the curved share, and the herbage hides from sight her ruined palaces. A victor you are yet, not here, nor am I let know what causes your delay, or in what part of the world hard-heartedly you hide. Whoso turns to these shores of ours, his stranger ship is plied with many a question ere he go away, and into his hand is given the sheet writ by these fingers of mine, to render up should he but see you anywhere. We have sent to Pylos, the land of ancient Nestor, Nellus' son. The word brought back from Pylos was nothing sure. We have sent to Sparta too, and Sparta also could tell us nothing true. In what lands are you abiding, or where do you idly tarry? Better for me, were the walls of Phoebus still standing in their place. Ah, me inconstant, I am wroth with the vows myself have made. Had they not fallen... Had they not fallen, I should know where you were fighting, and have only war to fear, and my plaint would be joined with that of many another. But now, what am I to fear? I know not. Yet nonetheless I fear all things, distraught, and wide is the field lies open for my cares. Whatever dangers the deep contains, whatever the land, suspicion tells me are the cause of your long delay. While I live on in foolish fear of things like these, you may be captive to a stranger, love. Such are the hearts of you men. It may be you even tell how rustic a wife you have, one fit only to dress fine the wool. May I be mistaken, and this charge of mine may be found slight as the breeze that blows, and may it not be that free to return, you will to be away? As for me, my father Icarius enjoins me to quit my widowed couch, and ever chides me for my measureless delay. Let him chide on. Yours I am, yours I must I be called. Penelope, the wife of Ulysses, ever shall I be. Yet is he bent by my faithfulness and my chaste prayers, and of him abates his urgency. The men of Dulichium and Samos, and they whom high Zacynthus bore, a wanton throng, come pressing about me, suing for my hand. In your own hall they are masters, with none to say them nay. My heart is being torn, your substance spoiled. Why tell you of Pisander and Polybus, and of Medon the cruel, and of the grasping hands of Eurymachus and Antinous, and of others, all whom through shameful absence of yourself are feeding fat with store that was won at cost of your blood? Eris the beggar and Melanthius, who drive your flocks to be consumed, are crowing disgrace now added to your ruin. We number only 3, unused to war, a powerless wife, Laertes an old man, Telemachus a boy. He was of late but all waylaid and taken from me, while making ready against the will of them to go to Pylos. The gods grant, I pray, that our fated ends may come in due succession, that he be the one to close my eyes, the ones to close yours. To sustain our cause are the guardians of your cattle, and the ancient nurse, and as third, the faithful ward of the unclean sty. But neither Laertes, unable as he is to wield arms now, can sway the scepter in the midst of our foes. Telemachus, indeed, so he live on, will arrive at years of strength, but now should have his father's aid in guarding. Nor have I strength to repel the enemy from our halls. Do yourself make haste to come, haven and altar of safety for your own. You have a son, and may you have him ever, is my prayer, who in his tender years should have been trained by you in his father's ways. Have regard for Laertes, in the hope that you will come at last to close his eyes as he is withstanding the final day of fate. As for myself, who when you left my side was but a girl, though you should come straightway, I shall surely seem grown, an aged dame. So I hope you enjoyed those. I know they were very long. We're going to be doing more hero-wides if you like them. They're absolutely some of my favorites. So as I am not speaking, I do however recommend you hopefully take our upcoming class on analyzing epics so you can gain some of these skills, as well as think about what values you think make a hero and how those differ from the ancient Greek values, especially the heroism of someone like Odysseus, who we've had many discussions about as we in our chats. So we'll now move into the ritual part of the observance. If you want, you can join us at home or watch the video or complete a ritual at home as well. We leave this offering for our gods to symbolize our connection and devotion. We gift this rock to symbolize the stability of the gods in our world. We gift this water to accept the flow of our lives. We welcome life and bless our offerings with oil to share our riches. We embrace our connection to each other and the world and celebrate our revival. We'll now move into our closing words, which have appeared on the slide behind you. You are welcome, as with the opening words, to listen or read aloud as I read them aloud. As we move out into the world, let us remember our community of faith. Cherish love and open your heart as you walk through life. Hold dear the light of the gods and our connection with the natural world. Go forth in celebration and carry the light of connection within your heart.